How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Ray Talks Hoop. Today, we're going to be talking about why I think the NBA is doing the Toronto Raptors dirty. Now, just as a disclaimer, I am not a Raptors fan. I'm actually just a Laker fan on the outside looking in and seeing what is going on with the Raptors franchise right now. And because of that, I want to make a video pointing out the inconsistencies that I see with the Raptors as opposed to other teams. So, in the few months that I've been making YouTube videos, I've started to notice a couple of things about the Toronto Raptors. Before I decided to become an NBA YouTuber, I did not watch Toronto as much as I watch them now. And some of the disadvantages I've noticed about the Toronto Raptors are, number one, they don't get as many foul calls as other teams. And at first I thought I was going crazy, but after reading a lot of the comments in my comment section, I also noticed that a lot of Raptor fans feel that exact same way. If the Raptors get fouled 10 times in the game, the refs might call 4 or 5 of those, as opposed to if the other team gets fouled 10 times, the refs might call 7, 8, 9 of those. And if the other team is James Harden's team, then he could get fouled 10 times and somehow get 11 foul calls. I don't know. So besides the lack of foul calls, I've also noticed that the media does not talk about Toronto very much. They don't get very many nationally televised games within the United States. I'm sure they do in Canada, but not really here in America. And right now, as most of you know, they are not even playing in Toronto, they are playing down in Tampa Bay. So they're not even in their home country right now. But most recently, what I'm seeing with the Toronto Raptors is pretty much the cherry on top of why I'm making this video. All these other inconsistencies, like not getting foul calls, not getting media coverage, those have been going on for a while. But right now, with this whole pandemic, the Toronto Raptors are not getting the same treatment that other teams have gotten, and here's why. A couple weeks ago, a lot of Miami and Boston games were canceled because a good amount of their players were not able to play due to speculation about the illness that's going around. Nobody really seemed to have a problem with that because it just kind of feels like common sense. If a team is not able to step their best players onto the court due to this whole thing that's going on, it just makes the most sense to go ahead and cancel those games, or at the very least postpone them. After all, if you force the Boston Celtics or the Miami Heat or any team to step on the court when they do not have their best players available to play, in a way you are hurting their season. Because imagine, let's say they play the Lakers or they play another really good team and they are only able to step onto the court with their second or third string guys and maybe 1 or 2 starters. That team is going to be at a severe disadvantage, and that is going to hurt them in the rankings when playoffs come around. So it just made the most amount of sense when the NBA decided not to play some of these Boston games, not to play some of these Miami games, some Memphis games as well, and a couple other teams here and there missed out on a couple of games. So a couple days ago, when we all found out that Nick Nurse, Fred VanVleet, OG, and some other guys on the Toronto Raptors were not going to be available to play, I just assumed that they were not going to play these next couple of games because that is the treatment that all these other teams were receiving. But to my surprise, or maybe I should say to no surprise whatsoever, the NBA basically penalized the Toronto Raptors by making them step onto the court yesterday against the Detroit Pistons. And granted, the Pistons did not have some players as well, but that's not really the point. The point is, when other teams were in the exact same situation as Toronto, the NBA did not have a problem with canceling those games so that those teams would not be at a disadvantage. But when Toronto is in the exact same position, maybe even a worse position because they don't even have a coach, they don't have a lot of their key players, the NBA says, that's not our problem, you still have games to play. So yesterday they played the Detroit Pistons, today they're going to play the Boston Celtics. Yesterday they lost to the Pistons by almost 30 points, a team which they should not be losing to by 30. Today they're going to play the Boston Celtics, and I would not be surprised if they lost. And right now, Toronto is the 8th seed, when last week they were the 4th and the 5th seeds. So as a Laker fan, I'm just saying I feel like this is completely biased, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing whatsoever. If this was my Lakers, and if LeBron wasn't able to play, if AD had caught the illness, if some of the guys on the Lakers weren't able to play, and the NBA felt like that team was going to be at a disadvantage, I guarantee you the Lakers would not be playing. And it wouldn't even hurt television ratings either, because most people who watch the Lakers are there to watch LeBron, they're there to watch Anthony Davis. So if those guys aren't gonna play, those viewers weren't gonna watch the game anyway. If you agree with my opinion, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. I appreciate the support you guys show on this channel, and I try my best to stay as unbiased as I possibly can. Thank you once again for the support. I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't like what I'm seeing right now with the NBA and the Raptors. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am out of here.